Carolina, what's your favorite single move that they made?
Yeah, I had to be aggressive here. I know we've nitpicked on all the different quarterbacks, and I think we tried to, whatever the media liked at that time, we kind of convinced ourselves that guy was good. I thought Bryce Young was the best quarterback in this class by a good margin. I get the size concerns. I understand that, but you just go ahead and watch his Alabama tape. And he was just the most, gifted quarterback, but also clearly understands football at an incredibly high level, cerebrally. He's good under pressure. He's good inside of structure, outside of structure. He can do everything. And I think when you're sitting there, instead of settling, just go and get your guy. Yes, it was very, very expensive to do, but I commend Carolina for not, look, they've gone Darnold, Mayfield, Bridgewater, so on and so forth. Just go get your rookie guy and see if you can do this once and for all.
No, I agree. I think my favorite move is not even selecting Bryce Young. It's the trade. It's going from 9 to number 1, knowing, okay, it cost you a lot, right? You gave up DJ Moore to make it happen in addition to the picks. It was expensive, but they did. They just said, look, we're not comfortable being here at 9 and just hoping the draft falls our way and that a quarterback we like makes it this far. We need this position addressed, and the only way to solve that is to trade to number 1 right now, before anybody else gets a chance. We leapfrog Houston, we do whatever we need to do, and that way we have control. And then you end up coming out of the draft with Bryce Young, who I think the further along we went, the closer to consensus it became that he was the clear number 1 quarterback in this draft. Like, obviously a lot of people thought that all the way along, but I think the closer to draft day it became, the more it became obvious that this was actually the case. And at that point, Carolina had long since locked up the ability to make that happen themselves. So the trade to get up to number 1, I think, is my favorite move they made. Are there any moves that you don't like from their offseason?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I just said the trade, but I do think, people don't appreciate how bad this receiving core is, even after you add, in the draft and Mingo in the second round. I think they have a bottom 5 receiving core in the NFL. I like the offensive line. I hate the Austin Corbett injury so much because I honestly think their starting 5 with a healthy Austin Corbett was honestly quietly, just unlike the receivers, I think a really solid unit. Yeah. I think Ike Ekwonu in the second half last year at left tackle, their first round pick from last year, started playing very good football. You re-signed Bradley Bozeman. You had Brady Christensen, I think, is a good left guard. And of course, Taylor Moton, one of the top 10 highest paid right tackles. So anyway, I just, Adam Thielen, veteran, sure, all those good things. But the Adam Thielen of last year was not worth the contract they gave him, struggled to separate, was just not the same guy. And I think Bryce Young is going to have a lot of covered receivers to be throwing to.
Are they a team that even this late in the day would be a candidate to trade for DeAndre Hopkins? I mean, I mentioned that earlier in the offseason before the draft, and people were complaining about, we're going to go with this rookie quarterback, and this is a short-term move. And blah. I mean, it is, but it's to give you, Bryce Young needs somebody to throw to. And I agree with you. I don't think that the receiving core that they have, unless Mingo hits the ground running, which I think is possible, if that doesn't happen, he's working behind the 8 ball. Give him a guaranteed target that he knows will be there, will be open, and somebody to really lean on.
I don't know if he'll be in that market just because the timelines probably aren't great. In the contract, obviously, they quietly had 5 picks themselves. They've been spending a ton and trading a lot of picks away the last several years, trying to chase, kind of mediocrity. So I would imagine they're more a team that, let's say, Denver gets off to a bad start. They call them back and say, hey, we know Judy and Cortland Sutton were available. Are they still available? Those type of, 28 and under guys. I'm just not sure D-Hop is the player, but I do think if things get off to a good start and they want to, win the NFC South or make a push because it is the rookie contract of a Bryce Young, that they should consider doing that, maybe near the deadline.
I just think there's a lot of value in the short term. Okay, obviously this is a team building for not, this year, but 2024, 2025. But if your quarterback is drowning out there because he doesn't have any receivers he trusts, that's an important part of his early development. So yes, DeAndre Hopkins probably isn't going to be there when you expect this team to be reaching its peak in the next couple of years, but that's kind of irrelevant. Right now you need to make sure that Bryce Young is actually the guy. So his development, his first year is a really important thing. And if he's throwing to Adam Thielen as his number 1 wide receiver or DJ Chark, that's a serious problem. So I think people should kind of entertain the DeAndre Hopkins thing more than they are, even knowing that the timelines don't mesh in terms of, when the team overall is going to be at its best. But the short term is important for this team as well.
Oh, it's totally fair. I mean, the team we're about to talk about that now has DJ Moore. I mean, you see what can happen if a quarterback does not have receivers to throw to and, starts playing a little bit scared and kind of thinking they're always under pressure or thinking they have to see a guy get fully open to throw it to him. And look, Bryce Young's supporting cast this past year was not good, but he obviously has a lot of experience throwing to wide open receivers in his day. So, no, I think it's fair. And honestly, I guess you could push back on the window. The window of a rookie contract quarterback is the rookie contract, which can last 3 years sometimes. So D-Hop could be the big investment for 3 years, and then you figure it out after that.
So B+ overall for the offseason for Carolina, B+ for their draft, B for their free agency, which was an eclectic bag of guys like Adam Thielen coming in, DJ Chark, Hayden Hurst added at the tight end room. They made a bunch of moves, but weren't necessarily big players in free agency. Von Bell, Eric Rowe in the defensive backfield as well. A generally, again, solid offseason for Carolina, punctuated by this one giant move they made to go get their guy to potentially have their quarterback of the future, which is everything to this franchise going forward.